Alright, hello, my name is Joey. I go by Freefall online. I'm a speedrunner of many different games, including this one. This is my GDQ 2024 submission video for a game called Yohane the Parhelion, Blaze in the Deep Blue. This is my run in 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 14 seconds. My understanding is that GDQ is doing a second round of submissions specifically for games that are like brand new, and that is the case with this one. This game came out November 16th, 2023, so it is just over a week old now, and it is a really cool run, and I think it would be a hit at GDQ, specifically because it is based off of a pretty popular anime series known as Love Live. And if you don't know anything about that show, it is usually a show about Japanese idols, and they made a spin-off series that was more like fantasy oriented, and they actually created a game based off of that spin-off series. So the fact that this game even exists in the first place is kind of hilarious to me, and I tried it out, learned the speedrun, and it's actually really interesting and cool. And I will be doing post commentary over my run of this game. One thing to note before I get into it, I'm deciding to, because this was a live streamed speedrun, I'm deciding to just mute the audio from that stream and talk over it and explain stuff as I go by. I don't know how the screening process for GDQ usually goes, but if you are interested in seeing what the game is supposed to look and sound like raw footage of it, I will include a playthrough in the description that you can check out if that is necessary. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to explain things as I go and just... Oh yeah, another thing, I'm just playing right now some OST from the game as background, so... Yeah. Alright. I will click play and just begin explaining stuff. So, this game, it is primarily a Metroidvania style 2D platformer with a lot of different elements. You've got stuff like crafting weapons and unlocking the different characters from the Love Live franchise that have different abilities. And your main form of movement, you're going to see it all over the place, are these slides. Now, this isn't just one continuous slide. These are multiple slides chained together to slide across the ground really quickly. And you have to do these slide chains once every, I want to say, like second and a half or so. Like, the slide doesn't go very far normally. It's probably once per second, actually. And... the frame window to press A to chain the next slide together is like a quarter of a second. It's actually very difficult to chain these slides together. Whenever I miss it, you're gonna see Yohane, the main character, jump up into the air, and that's slow. So the game is very technical right off the bat in terms of like timing those A presses along the ground. One thing I've done already, right at the start of the game, I opened those 2 treasure chests, if you notice. Those gave me materials, and like I said, there's crafting in this game, so what I already did was create this weapon called the Qatar. It's this, like, blade thing that I've been using, you might have noticed. And, in these earlier sections, I usually use the wolf character. That's like my main attack. Her name is Lilaps. That's the base ability that you start with, is her little like claw swipe in conjunction with the Qatar to deal a lot of damage. And so right now, what I just started, I went through a blue portal a few seconds ago, and I'm going to enter one now. These are what are known as warp rooms. So this game has a bit of randomness to it. Most of the game, like 90% of the game, is pre-generated. It's always the same. But these warp segments are randomly generated, not randomly generated rooms. There's like a pool of rooms that the game can choose from, and it's always random, and the amount that you have to do is random as well. So in that instance, I only had to do 2 warp rooms, and that is the lowest amount. It can be anywhere from 2 to 5, and I just got 2, so that's really lucky. And we head into the first boss. So right now we're making our way through Sunken Temple. This is the first area that you spawn in. There are 8 like main areas total, and then kind of an endgame section at the end of the run. So I am finishing up Sunken Temple, which is very short. Finish it up like literally 3 minutes into the run. And you can see, yeah, there goes the boss. This one's pretty simple. Kind of just jump right in front of him, and like I was saying, alternate between using Lilaps and the Qatar to deal as much damage as possible. In the early game, that's what you want to be doing. And because we completed the area, we unlock one of our friends. This is Chika Takami. If you watch the anime, that she is like the main character usually. The reason this game stars Yohane is because that's what the spin-off series is like based off of, is her like reality, I guess. And we head into the second area, and I'm breaking like pots along the way. You might have noticed that is for 2 reasons actually. That one reason is to get crafting materials to build like weapons and stuff, and like equipment that will buff me later on. Very, very important. I'll break that one too, even though it's kind of out of the way. The second reason I do that is for money, especially in the end of the game. Having like healing items, potions, and you can buy other things. I usually prioritize getting health potions though, but getting money along the way is very important, because you don't want to kind of screw yourself over at the end of the game not having enough money. You make it all the way there and suddenly you can't buy enough like potions to actually finish the game properly. So one other aspect of the game is save points. So save points kind of work the same way they do in like a Souls-like game, I guess. They're these lighthouse rooms that you come across. They heal you back to full health. They restore that green meter in the top, which is your darkness point meter. That lets you use different abilities, which I'll get into. And they also let you warp between rooms, so they are very important. Real quick aside here, what I'm doing is called CDD's Charm early, so I'm jumping as far as I can to this platform, barely making it, and I'm using the Qatar as fast as I can in the air to stall myself and make it over there. I'm supposed to have the double jump to get that ability, but I can get it early, and what that's gonna let me do is walk underwater and do a section in Grotto, which is that forest looking area I was just in early. So we just kind of passed through Grotto. We didn't finish it. We just kind of took a detour through it and went to Ruins here, which is actually the second area we're going to complete. And this one has, I can't tell if it's 3 bosses, like 3 of these beetle guys, or it's the same one just in 3 different spots. But that was the first fight against him, and they all kind of work similarly to that. So Chika, she shoots the shield on the beetle guy and stuns him. So you have to switch to Chika to stun him whenever he does that, and then switch back to Lilaps to do damage again. So it's a little technical. And sorry, there's a lot to explain at once, but I did mention earlier that save points heal you back to full health, and it's very important to route out. So I'm like taking damage intentionally in a lot of spots, right? So I could like not slow down, just kind of run through things. But you have to know where your save points are located and when you can get away with actually damage boosting. Like in that rock room, I was like, okay, I'm super low health right now, but I know a save point is coming up, so it's worth it for me to just like risk it. And that is like a universal mechanic throughout the entire game, is like min-maxing your health bar. And it can get pretty scary sometimes, because here's another RNG aspect I've yet to explain, is damage rolls. So the amount of damage that you do with any given attack, and as well as the damage that enemies can do in any given attack, is random. There's like a range of numbers that you can hit for or get hit for at any given time. So you can see these rocks are doing, that one did 10, the other one did 8. This one's gonna do 10 again. So there's like critical hits. Sometimes you can hit for a ton of damage, or sometimes you can do like little damage to no damage at all almost. And also on the same token, you can get hit for a ton of damage and there's not much you can do about it. You can, I think the route we have now lets you play pretty safe regardless of how bad your RNG is. There are certain spots where if you just get completely unlucky, it is pretty detrimental. But you'd be surprised, like, with how new this game is, we've already got a lot figured out in terms of like that kind of thing. It's like, okay, no matter what kind of luck the game throws at me, I can get through the game, right? And we're going through another warp segment here. I think that was 3 rooms this time, so not quite as lucky as I was in Sunken Temple, but still really good. And we're coming up in the last beetle fight in Ruins, finishing up Ruins here. And I was going to mention one other thing. What was it? Oh yeah, I was gonna say this game is only a week old, and by the time GDQ comes around, it's going to be so much more optimized than it is now, and it already is pretty optimized, so it has an exciting future ahead of it. And then you can see sometimes when I do damage, you can see the number is yellow. That indicates a critical hit, and the number is usually going to be higher. I actually got crit there. He hit me for 32. So you can see it works on both ends. It can work in your favor and it can work against you, and you just kind of have to deal with it. But that was a decent Ruins. Warp Room RNG, like I said, wasn't too bad. And we're going to unlock our second character here, or I guess third if you count Lilaps. This is Kanan. So she can spawn this like robot toad guy, which is a reference to the anime. And he kind of like drops down in front of you and like crushes blocks in your way and can do a lot of damage as well. So here, this bubble that's around me, that is because we got Sea Deity's Charm early. We did that skip in Ruins. And now we are in this section a lot earlier than we should be. And we're actually going to finish up Grotto. This is normally a section that you come back to much later in the run. But because we have that skip available to us, we can just finish this section of the game up like right away. And I believe I'm in a warp section. Yes, I am. So I can't remember how lucky I get here. I think every like major area in the game has a warp room section aside from Coral Hill. I think that's the only one that doesn't. And I believe this is my third room. Let's see if there's more. Nope. Okay. Not bad RNG again. That is still takeable. So this is another section where like I notice my health is pretty good, so I'm going to intentionally take damage. But as you can see, that took a lot of my health. That guy, that cannon thing doesn't normally hit me for that much, but I know that it potentially can, so I have to be very cautious about how much health I have and like what strats I'm willing to do as a result. And so we're making our way to the boss fight. This one coming up is probably the first like actually difficult one, I would say. The first two are like not bad at all. And then there again, look, I'm super low health. I have to be so careful. But we're at the boss room here, which will always have a save point nearby, which is nice. And now at this point of the run, I am making a crystal ring using the materials that I've gathered. Those are random too, so I don't know what I'm going to make when I go into the pause menu there. I don't know what materials I got, but I just kind of work with whatever I have. So I noticed I have a crystal ring, which for early game is like a pretty decent item to equip. So that's always nice. Sometimes you're not so lucky. Sometimes you have to make like a bronze ring. That's like a slightly worse variant of what I have right now. The main reason that I want it, so it buffs HP and it buffs DP, it's called, the green meter. It makes that go down slower so I can use more abilities and stuff. The reason that's so important is because when you run out of DP, you'll still be able to use the abilities that you have, but it will drain your HP instead. So when you run out of darkness points, your green meter is empty, then the game becomes even more risky because every time you use an ability, which is very advantageous, you're draining your health. And it will drain all the way down to 1 HP, but it will never kill you for using an ability. But still, you never want to be at 1 HP in this game. It gets very tough. We unlocked another character there. That was Daya. She will come in handy in the next boss fight. But for now, we're going to make our way through the next area. This is Shipwreck, which has these little like noodle guys coming out of the ground. You have to know where they are. And also the rooms are dark in this area too, or at least a majority of the rooms in this area. And this one's tricky. It likes to try and catch you off guard, you know, have enemies come out of the ground, have spikes with like floors that break above them. But I'm doing a good job avoiding it here. And what else can I say? There's Kanon's ability, so there's the robot frog. You can't see it with the light off like that, but there was like a stone platform that only she can break through, so that's why I needed to use her there. And yeah, so the front bumper buttons in this game let you switch between characters, and so I've been doing it pretty well so far, but it's actually like very tricky to know just how many clicks of those buttons it takes to get to the character you want, and that becomes especially that becomes more challenging the more characters you unlock, obviously, because you have more to like toggle through. This is good movement so far. I'm avoiding unnecessary hits except for that one. But it's alright. Save point right here. So yeah, you get to sections in this game where like every single hit is like it's like a big deal. You don't want to be taking unnecessary hits. Okay, so these big fish guys, these red ones that throw axes at you specifically, are very important. They have a chance of dropping what is a material known as a Great Axe Fragment. That first one I killed did drop one, which was nice. The reason those are so important is because they are a necessary material for the Buster Sword, which is the best item, or the best like sub weapon in the game. So right now I'm using Qatar, like I said. In a few minutes we're gonna be switching to the Buster Sword and using that for the remainder of the run. And there are 2 ingredients, I guess, to making the Buster Sword. We need Great Axe Fragments from those red fish guys, and we need what are called Tide Lights. And in a moment here, very shortly, I'm going to be farming Tide Lights. I need 5 of them. And so I'm going to be taking a few seconds to do that. And later on, we'll be able to make the Buster Sword in the next main area of the game. Right now, though, this is the next warp room segment in Shipwreck here. This room's a little annoying. So these like caterpillar dudes we use Kanon for, because they have a chance of poisoning you, and poison is very bad. You don't want that. Sorry, there's like so many mechanics to explain, but another thing. So there is a item in this game that can randomly drop. It is quite rare. It's called a music score. And what it does is it revives you if you die. And in reviving you, it will also give you a huge offense buff. So you'll basically crit every single hit you go for the next, like, how long does it last? Probably like 45 seconds, I'd say. Right here I'm farming for Tide Lights, so I have a little bit of time to explain this. So it will buff you for a short amount of time and revive you, but it will automatically trigger if you die, and you usually only get one in the speedrun unless you get very lucky. So it's very important, especially early on in the game, to not die and lose that music score, because the ideal spot to use it is coming up. It's actually the shipwreck boss fight. And I believe I hold on to it. I might die like right before the boss, I can't remember. But I'm trying really hard not to die so I can hang on to that item when I need it. And yeah, so while I was explaining that there, I unlocked 2 new items. So one of them was the magic gloves, I think they're called, which let me climb walls and stuff. You'll see me using that. And then another accessory slot. So I equipped another like buffing item in addition to the crystal ring I made earlier. So now I'm even stronger than I was, which is very necessary. The boss fights from this point forward take a huge spike in difficulty, actually. The one coming up took me a very long time to get down. This section right here in particular that I'm doing is one where you really don't want to take any unnecessary hits. Every bit of health you can hang on to for this section matters a lot, and you'll see why in a little bit. These like pink brain jellyfish guys are super annoying. Basically, they take 3 hits in most cases, and every time you hit them, they will like fly away in fear and then come back later really fast and try to hit you. And so you might be able to like get by them without slowing down like that, but they are very annoying, and I think it's worth it, at least at this point, to just get rid of them. Okay, so I believe I only have 1 Great Axe fragment at this point in time, so I might need to go back. I can't remember. I might need to go back and farm 2 more of those because I do need 3. You can see how much health I have. That is so scary. So yeah, that's why we need to conserve so much health in that section, is because those yellow cannon things, they normally require an ability to like block their shots that I don't have yet. So my only option to get to this point without that ability is to just tank the damage, and they do so much. So I barely scrape by there. And now I'm using my music score. So there are 2 ways to use it. You can either die, or you can do what I just did, which is use it in the pause menu. So I'm using it for this boss, and I'm also switching over to Daya, who has this like electric saber attack. And you can see just how much damage I'm doing to this boss here, using both the music score and Daya, as well as the guitar. This is a very technical boss fight. There are some attacks like this one that can hit for so much, which I'm going to get hit by. Okay. Did take a death there. Yeah, that attack where it will freeze the ground and then shortly thereafter swipe across the screen and literally do over half of your health every single time without critting. That is one that you really need to look out for. So that's pretty detrimental, because that was my one attempt using the music score. So now what I have to do is I have to fight the boss without the music score, which is very difficult to do, but I do manage to do it here. So this is a good showcase for, like, say theoretically I did die on my way to this point and I didn't have a music score. The boss fight would be a lot more difficult and it would look a lot more like this, where I'm not hitting for as much, but I am still able to do enough damage and play safe enough where I can get by. And believe it or not, this run does still PB despite this shortcoming. I think the run from here on out is pretty well executed, so this was probably like the biggest mistake in the run, I think. And like I said, by the time GDQ rolls around, the entire community is going to be so much better at this game. It's still so new at this current point in time. And yeah, you can see all the different attacks this guy has. You definitely need to be anticipating them. They are much too fast to react to and like jump out of the way. So yeah, you have to be very aware of everything the boss can do. the boss fights are probably the thing you have to practice the most in this game. So yeah, this fight taking a bit longer without the music score, but he should be falling momentarily. I think right here, maybe even I might get him. There it is. Nice. Yeah, always pretty impressive to do that fight without a music score. And that's Shipwreck done, and we are going to unlock another character. This is Hanamaru. She has a spin dash ability that will get rid of spikes for us, as well as a really useful ability that we'll have to unlock for her in a little bit here. I think that's coming up. I'll explain that in a bit. So this next main area, I think we've completed 4. Yes, we've completed 4 now. And Sea of Trees here, so I'm not going to complete Sea of Trees. This is kind of like Grotto, where we're just kind of passing through. I am simply going to reach the first save point in this area so that I can warp back to it later. I don't think I've warped between save points yet, but that's going to become very prominent in a bit. So we're just going to do like the first half of this area. Shoot this block with Chica. Oh, I think there's... No, not yet. There's a cool part in Sea of Trees, but it's later, so we'll see that later. I'm supposed to be warping back to Ruins, but I think it's slipping my mind right now. In a second, I'll do that. So we're going to go back to Ruins, and we're going to unlock what I mentioned. There it is. We're going to unlock Hanamaru's second ability. So all of the characters, the sub-characters, I guess, have like little side quests that you can do to unlock a special ability that they all have. So if I go back to the parlor, which I just did, and I talk to Hanamaru, she's like, oh, I lost my laptop in the maze. Can you go find it? And so we warp back to Ruins where that laptop is, and we go this way. We use her spin dash ability, get rid of these spikes for me. And the laptop's right in this room here. Now this item is absolutely ridiculous. This will spawn a laptop that Hanamaru will either catch and explode, or you can hit the laptop out of the air yourself and explode it, or like detonate it early. And it will hit for, on average, about 500 damage, which is just insane. So from this point forward, the boss fights are going to look a little different. I'm going to be using that ability a ton. And as you can imagine, it takes a lot of your DP, which is scary, right? Because if you run out of DP, like I said, then it starts draining HP and things get very, very dicey. But it's so powerful that we kind of need to use it. And so, like I was saying, you need to be really confident about your boss fights, which you're going to see. But for the time being, so we've unlocked that lighthouse in Sea of Trees that we'll warp back to later, like I said. But for right now, we're going to take a detour to our next major area. This is Sunken Volcano. And we are going to clear up this one. And like I mentioned earlier, I need to make Buster Sword soon. Buster Sword is that sub-weapon that is going to be used for the rest of the game. And I need Tide Lights and I need Great X Fragments. I believe by the time I finish up Sunken Volcano here, I have enough Tide Lights, but I won't have enough Great X Fragments. I need 2 more at this point in time. So I will have to make a quick trip back to Shipwreck to get that last one and then make Buster Sword. But that's in a little bit. Right now we're just doing movement through Sunken Volcano, and here's the warp room. I don't know what my luck was like here. I can't remember. I know towards the end of the run, my warp room luck got not too great, but I think in the beginning it was a lot better. And like this middle part of the game. I can't remember. Not looking too good. I think this is my 4th room here. Yeah, 4 rooms. Not what you want to see. Better than 5, I guess. So we're coming up on the double jump ability, which is really cool. That like really opens up the game in terms of movement. I think it's really cool. It also looks cool, the animation they attached to it. Okay, so coming up here is a room with more of those red fish guys. I think I'm aware I'm low on Great Axe fragments, so I'm gonna opt to kill these guys and hope that they drop some of them. I think they only drop 1 though, and I need 2. So that'll happen right here. I'm like, alright, I don't have the Great Axe fragments I need. I would normally damage boost through these guys. There's 1. But because I need the items that they drop... Oh. I probably thought I had 2 and only needed 1 more, but I'm definitely short 1 there. But we'll fix that in a little bit. This room, super slow to do as intended. Much faster to just tank the hits in the lava there and then heal up. I'm gonna heal again because I am so close to dying and I'm about to fall in lava. Good awareness there. And we're coming up on the double jump here. So, whoops, go up. Do a couple more rooms. We got this like anchovy eye thing. The enemy designs in this game are very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, cool. So we got our double jump. I'm gonna go here. Realize I don't have enough for a Buster Sword quite yet. Oh wait, no. I make my way to the boss room before I check that. So yeah, we'll make our way to the boss room, unlock that save point so we can warp back here easily. And for this boss, I want Buster Sword, so I'm not going to start it until I have it. A little bit more movement here. Hopefully everything I've been explaining makes at least a little amount of sense. Like I said, I know it's a lot. Alright, going down. I'm so low on health, I have to be careful as heck here. Okay. And save point, I'm gonna check for Buster Sword. No dice. I go down. Oh, I do make Fluffy Coat. That's a good equipment piece to have. So I'll switch out Crystal Ring for that. That'll buff my DP and HP, which is always good. And Buster, there it is. See, I'm low. I need 1 more Great Axe fragment. Even though I thought I had enough. That's like part of the challenge with this game. You have to like have a mental kind of inventory to know, which I did not. But I'm just, it's not really that detrimental actually. I can just warp back, instantly get it, go right back. Boom, Buster Sword. And now we're gonna see that laptop ability I was talking about come into play. It does so much damage, but it's kind of technical to use actually. It drains a lot of DP and a lot of HP, and you hitting the laptop out of the air is actually kind of a skill in and of itself. You have to time that pretty well, especially when starting out. That was giving me a lot of trouble. But because I'm able to do so much damage to him with this thing and like finish these fights so much quicker than intended, it really incentivizes you to be like super aggro against these bosses. Just like almost like disregard getting hit. Like I'm getting hit by him. I'm not even like making a really honest attempt to avoid what he's throwing at me. I'm just like, I gotta do as much damage as possible and finish up this fight. And ideally he would have died right there. But again, damage rolls, right? Like I can't always control how much damage my attacks do. Sometimes they we call it like a low roll. They just don't do as much as I would have liked. And he should die here. But as you can see, I was at 1 sliver of HP. Like I said, I'm completely out of DP. So whenever I use the laptop and the Buster Sword, it's draining my HP, but it will never kill me. So boss fights get really scary when you drain all of your DP and all of your HP just going ham on him, and then suddenly you can't afford to get hit even a single time. I did do 1 heal though, because I have a few potions in my inventory. And then, okay, we finish up Sunken Volcano. We unlock Rico, who has like a fire ability that's not that useful. And we go back to Sea of Trees. This is the area where I just quickly unlocked the first save point. So now we're like halfway through it already. Instead of like going back to like the end of Shipwreck and then doing the entire Sea of Trees world, now it's like, oh, I only have to do half of it. Okay, this is a cool strat here. So I have to press the switch on the ground to open that door above. I'm going to go on the very edge of that platform I was just on and use Kanon to press the switch. The only reason that works is because there's like a wall right above the switch that the robot frog can't, like, because the wall is there, he can't land on the floor that he would normally land on, and instead he falls right to where the switch is. So that's actually pretty precise to do. Cool little skip. Right now I'm poisoned. You can see in the top left that purple status effect that's on me. Poisoned is kind of annoying. It's not too bad. I think Sea of Trees has enough save points in rapid succession that like you can kind of just get poisoned on purpose, not worry about avoiding it, and just like make it to the next save point in time before the poison really does any like detrimental damage to you. That was another pretty like middle of the road portal or warp room. I think that was 3 rooms. And yeah, at this point we're kind of just doing a mad dash through the remainder of the worlds we have left. We have the laptop, we have the Buster Sword. Like, we can pretty much eviscerate all the bosses left in the game. It's just a matter of getting to them and cleaning them up. Sea of Trees, the boss here is actually pretty tough. This is one of the tougher ones, I would say. You have to know like exactly what's coming, which is not the worst to do against this guy, because all of the order of his attacks is the same every single time, which is pretty nice. That being said though, you do drain a lot of your health here, so you can't be taking hits. So yeah, I avoid his little like explosion move on the ground he's doing. I get hit intentionally there just to stay right next to him and spawn another laptop. And do it again here. So that's 3 laptop hits, a couple of Buster Swords. We're on good pace. You're gonna see I just ran out of DP though, so I have no green meter. So every attack I do now is going to drain from my actual health meter. Oh, I took a huge hit there, but I notice it. So you have to be really on top of your health during boss fights. Your health can just go down so quickly, and you like don't even realize it sometimes. So I have no potions right now. I'm at 1 HP, but doesn't matter. Too good. Very nice. I've got that one down to a science, I would say. All right. So that is our 6th world cleared up, I believe. And we're heading to Coral Hill. We unlock our friend Yo, who has this cannon ability, very silly. Shoots you across the air until you hit something. If you can believe it, very good for the speedrun. Very easy to just shoot yourself across these really long rooms like this. The reason we're back here is because we are unlocking our 4th and final accessory slot right up here. using Yo's ability. And we're gonna buff ourselves for, I believe, the last time. Motivational headband, very good item. Put that on our last slot we just unlocked, and now we are going to, yeah, so we're going to Coral Hill, and the entrance to that is actually, it kind of branches off of this section in Grotto. So we're back in Grotto for just a little bit, and we have another warp room here. Interesting. I just realized Grotto is probably the only area in the game that has 2 warp sections. This one, though, is very easy. You can see these enemies are just hitting me for peanuts because this is supposed to be like an early area in the game. This is like early game stuff, but I'm playing it with a full filled out equipment slots, if that makes sense. So I'm like buffed. Don't have to worry too much. And yeah, we turn on this elevator. Dia is capable of turning on those like electric switch things. That's like her main, or her main use as intended by the game anyway. And using Yo again, shooting right into the exit. That's always pretty satisfying to do. All right, Coral Hill. This one, I think this is my favorite area in the game. I've been saying. I mentioned earlier it's the only one that doesn't have a warp room segment, so no RNG. It's all movement, and it's pretty cool. It's a lot of climbing too, and like wall jumping, which I like. Outside of Shipwreck, you don't really use the climbing ability too much in this game. And we're using Yo to... Oh, this is the wrong room. I always do that. I always use Yo right there, and it's a room later, and it's not this one. But she is really useful in rooms where there's like a really big enemy that does a ton of damage to you, but you can just shoot right over their heads and not even bother with them. Always really nice. Alright, there we got some wall jumping and some double jumping. I do like how the movement in this game really opens up the more you unlock. I think that's another reason why I like Coral Hill. It kind of exemplifies that really well. I should also say the ledge grabbing that I'm doing, that is also a side effect of this like magic glove ability I unlocked in Shipwreck. You can't grab ledges at the start of the game until you get that. Also, you can see how much like Buster Sword is doing just in terms of overworld movement. Like it takes care of enemies so much quicker than Lilaps and the Qatar can. Buster Sword is a must in the speedrun. These things are really weird. They just hit you and reduce your attack for some reason. But it's faster to just get hit on purpose. Nice bonk. And we're coming up on the end of Coral Hill. Yep, there's the boss room. Unlock the save point down here and heal up. This one's a lot easier than the last boss. Still using a lot of laptop spam, but I think the nice thing about this one is it tends to stay in place. Like it will stay on one part of the screen, which when you're trying to hit it with laptops is like super helpful. Or like 2 spots. It just like alternates sides of the room basically. It's not like all over the place. Also, not a ton of health. A lot of the bosses, especially the later ones, have like so much health. I don't know why. But this one, you can take care of pretty quickly. There we go. Yeah, not too bad there. And that's another boss down. Another character unlocked. This is Ruby. So this is the shield ability that I should have used in Shipwreck against those gold cannon things. These guys. That's how you're intended to get by those. But Doing it without Ruby is so much faster. I think Coral Hill's supposed to be an area that you do much earlier. Here we have Crystalline Grotto. So this is the last main area before like the end game. And you're gonna see, if you've played a certain Mega Man title, a lot of similarities. I think it's charming, but it's definitely pretty similar, gotta be honest. This area is pretty cool. I do enjoy it. This room you can just slide through. So these like tentacle guys, they spawn, but their hurt boxes don't show up until like a full second after they actually show up on screen. So even though it looks like you're gonna slide right into them and take damage, you actually can get away with just going right through them. All right. More of these sliding crystal blocks. You have to be really careful with these, actually. If they like crush you against the wall, it sends you back to the beginning of the room and does a ton of damage. There's a part where that's pretty likely to happen in Infernal Altar, which is like coming up. We have our Warp Room segment coming up. I believe this one and then the final one. So there's only 2 more, and I think I get pretty unlucky in both of those. I believe this one ends up being maybe 5 rooms. Can't remember. Would have been on a pretty sick pace if I had gotten luckier, actually. Yeah, just making my way through these. Oh, I think I remember in the run, this was like the first time I had seen this room. I had never gotten this one before. I'm like, interesting. But yeah, just had to turn on the elevator and take it to the top. This one's annoying. I don't know why they put this room in. Just kind of have to go through and unlock all the doors one at a time. Again, without Buster Sword, this would be such a hassle, but it is a godsend to just be able to like kill pretty much every normal enemy in the game in 1 or 2 hits. Okay, I think that was only 4 rooms, but because I got that last one, that's like a really slow one. It might as well have been 5. Alright. And we don't have much left in Crystalline Grotto. I think we're almost done. This room you're supposed to shoot by. I think this guy trolls me, yeah. There we go. And if you leave the warp rooms with enough health, you are rewarded by being able to damage boost through this room, which would otherwise be incredibly slow. So I'm glad that I was able to do that. And boss room is coming up. Another pretty, or I guess relatively easy boss fight. Activate this elevator, switch to Hanamaru. Laptop, of course. Why wouldn't we? This one's similar to the Sea of Trees one, where the boss pattern is deterministic. It's like the same every single time. So I already know to stand right here, and I already know he's going to be on the right. Oh, this next part's random. The next spawn location could be right or left, and you kind of do have to react a little quickly, but it's not difficult. It's like right or left, left side. Use 2 more. I don't think he quite dies here, but a couple more Buster Sword. He's like super low health. There we go. And that is the last main area and the last character we unlock. So this is Mari, a fan favorite, but she is unfortunately pretty useless in the speedrun, I gotta say. You use her like twice, maybe. Alright, so real quick before I head to the endgame section, I'm going to the parlor to stock up on healing potions. Because the game really ramps up now. Everything from this point forward is very difficult. So I'm buying 7 health potions, literally spending every last cent I have on those at the moment. And so if you've ever played Super Metroid, that's kind of what's happening right now. I have this room at the very start of the game that you're not supposed to like understand, but it's a room that you come back to after you defeat all the bosses, and then it will unlock the last area. So here we are in Infernal Altar. Very easy to get poisoned in this area. So a lot of like poison gas things like that, and like poison water and stuff. Although it's not poison like the other areas in the game, it's technically toxic. The main difference between being poisoned and being toxic is that toxic will never wear off by itself. It will continue to hurt you until either you use like an antidote of some kind or touch a save point. And that is very scary. There's actually a section coming up where I kind of have to get toxicked and then just like deal with the consequences. Just keep healing myself up with potions. That's why it's so important to stock up. Here's another room where you can kind of just slide through the squid guys. And then this dark room is really cool. I like this one. If you always know what height to shoot yourself at, you go right over this guy perfectly. You hit this, you go down and use it to the right, and I'll be at the perfect height once again to go over this guy. Yep. Fall down. And we have another section. There's another instance of going over the big scary guys, like I was saying. And yeah, we have some rolling rocks, some crystal slidey blocks before our final warp room segment. Very tough movement, and another instance where holding onto your health is just so important. Easy to get crushed right there. Very easy to get crushed there. This is the room I was talking about, where you like almost 100% get toxicked if you're trying to go fast. So I get damaged intentionally there to get by him. These things silence you, which is very annoying. When you're silenced, you can't use any abilities from your other characters, which I need right here. I need to use Kanon. One thing, though, that I figured out literally during this run, actually, is that you can only be afflicted with one status effect at a time. So I got silenced, but then I fell into the poison pool and got toxicked, and it undid my silencing. So I actually think, I didn't know this at the time, but I think the play in that room is to get toxicked. If you get silenced, get toxic to overwrite it, crush the thing, then get silenced so you're not toxic anymore. And now you can see I'm like constantly taking a bunch of damage because I'm being toxic. But so the reason I'm just kind of dying on purpose, I'm taking a bunch of hits, is because I actually got really lucky in this run and I got a second music score. So I actually have another music score in my inventory right now. And I'm like, well, I'm toxic anyway. Let's die on purpose. I'm going to get revived here by the music score, and I'm not going to be toxic anymore. So that was kind of a really opportunistic thing. And now I'm like chilling for the rest of Infernal Altar here. Usually this section I'm running it really close on HP. But because I had that music score, it really made things a lot more simple. And here we are at the boss for Infernal Altar. I'm gonna use Mari's ability to open this door. That is literally the only time you use it. And here outside of the boss room, we're gonna use Hanamaru. This one is so tough. It is such a tough boss fight. I have it down to a science. I had to practice this one so much, but now I think I've made it basically foolproof. I know exactly what he's going to do and when I can get my laptops in. But you're gonna see me run it close on health because, of course, that's just the nature of the game. I was talking about silencing and how it prevents you from using your characters. Well, this boss has a bunch of attacks that do silence to you. It silences you. And that's really bad because you can't use your laptop when you're silenced. So not only is it important to not get hit for the sake of health, but you also don't want to get hit because if you get silenced, then you miss out on so many opportunities to do a bunch of damage to him. But this is going just as planned. And he should die here or very soon. I'm not sure. Usually he dies right here, but I've probably been low rolling, unfortunately. I'm gonna shoot this thing, and does he die here? Surely he dies here, right? Yeah. There we go. Okay, so we did all 8 main areas of the game. We did this endgame section. What's left? Well, in true Mega Man fashion, this game has boss refights. And so we are going to go through and do the boss rush with the laptop and try to get through it as fast as we can. This is the most difficult section in the game, and it's not close. We run it really close on health many times over. What I was doing right there, going back and forth between the rooms, just grinding a little bit of money so I can buy as many potions as I can to get ready for this. So we're heading into Aquar's Memoria. That's the name of this very, very last area of the game. And so, although it is very difficult, it is also very fast because, of course, the laptop is such a powerful move. But this is like the true test of skill, right? Because, well, I'll kind of explain a little bit. So, in this boss rush, you have one save point right at the start, which I've already passed by. And then from there, you have a long corridor. And each room in that corridor is a boss fight, right? And so every time that you're low on health or you feel like you need to refill on health, you have to warp back to that save point at the start and then make your way all the way through the corridor to where you left off. And so you are very much incentivized to play very risky if you can and avoid taking several trips back to the save point to make your way back to the beginning or to where you left off, if that makes sense. And so you can see I'm at the second boss in the refights and I'm already out of DP. I'm already draining my health. But I have to make the call. Is it worth going back to the save point and then losing a bunch of time? In this case, so I'm going to finish up this fight and I am going to elect to play it risky and fight the next boss. I think it kills me. I think I do die. But I think it was the right play either way because this third room is the beetle. And with the laptop, the beetle is usually very easy. I think I just get chipped by something. Which is whatever. It's not a terrible time loss. It's just kind of annoying. But yeah, so I did my one laptop, hitting its shield, switching back to Hanamaru, and ideally it dies right here off this laptop. In this case it didn't, and I die. That was just an example of getting screwed over by low rolling damage. 9 times out of 10, that second laptop there in the center of the room kills that guy, but because it didn't, and because I played it risky and was literally at 1 HP, I just instantly died when he didn't die. And now you can kind of see what it looks like. So I go back to the save point. I got to make my way all the way through these rooms that I've already done to get back to where I was. That is the risky run whenever you want to go back and heal. But this time I'll do it properly, and I do believe he does die in the center like he's supposed to. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for behaving this time. Alright, next fight is the lava worm once again. I have half my DP left. Not worth taking a trip back to the lighthouse for this one. Should be good. Yeah, and another really important thing for this final section of the game is just like keeping track of how many health potions I have. Ideally, I have like 20. Like I should be more than okay, but spoiler alert, I don't have a ton of health potions, and it becomes very dicey at the end of the game. But it works out. So another laptop, it's draining my health, super low health. I probably elect to heal right now. There was a very realistic chance that fireball there just killed me if I got unlucky, but good. There's another one down. I have to imagine I go back here. I am looking in rough shape. No, I keep going, and I just heal up. All right. So we're fighting this guy. Okay, that makes sense. This guy's pretty easy with laptops. Definitely easier than it is when we first do it. So yeah, super low health again. Make sure to heal. Keep an eye on that HP meter. And should be almost dead. Yeah, that killed him straight up. Good. So I believe that's 5 fights down, 3 more to go. Definitely take a trip back there. Heal up, full DP again. Only downside is we have to shoot our way through these rooms again. But we're on good pace here. Make our way back. Bonk on that for good measure. And what's the next one? This one, as I already stated, pretty easy. Same as before. Get my hits in. Ooh, nice crit. So when Hanamaru crits, if you crit with the laptop, it literally does 1,000 damage. It is so much. Like a comical amount of damage. So I got really lucky on that one. I can't remember how many potions I have at this point. I know it's not a lot. So same fight again. It's just so difficult. In true boss rush fashion, these refights, even though they're on paper the exact same, they're made so much harder just by the fact that you are fighting them immediately after fighting another boss. I'm so low health. I should heal. I'm at 1 HP. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so I'm at 9. I'm at 8. 8 may seem like a lot. It's really not. It's really not. Especially when you have no DP. This might kill him. Ooh, not quite. And yeah, I didn't want to heal up there. I was really hoping he would die there. But it is what it is. This will kill though. Yeah. Alright. Only a couple more to go. Oh, I'm buying one more. That's funny. That one potion, spoiler alert, it comes in clutch. I'm actually glad I did that. And of course, in a marathon setting, there's always that room in front of, or at the end of Infernal Altar where you can grind money really fast. So it's never a huge issue if you do take like an unfortunate death here or there. You can always complete this end section in like pretty good time. Alright, this guy. Again, deterministic fight. I know he's gonna be at the bottom. And so yeah, this is it's this guy, and then it's the tentacle monster dude that I just fought in Infernal Altar. I do that fight one more time. And then we are at the final boss, which is pretty interesting. Get him in the air there, very good. Must have high rolled on a lot of hits. That was pretty fast. And here we are. Another fight that's the same. This time though, you see I went in with no DP. I played it really risky because I knew I had to PB. I'm literally, if I get hit by anything, I die here. But gonna heal up. So my strategy for this fight I found is to damage him to a certain point where he's going to do his attack where he hangs from the ceiling and starts throwing the bits of the floor at you. Basically, I do enough damage to reach that point, and then I heal myself back to full, basically. Which should be coming up shortly. And the reason being is because that part of the fight where he starts throwing the floor at you, it's so easy to get hit by something random. You never want to be at like super low health for that part. So there it is. He's hanging from the ceiling. I'm going to use 2 potions. Just bring myself all the way back up to 400. And so I have a really specific thing here. So I wait until there's 3 things, and then I jump. I use Hanamaru to the left. She clears the left side for me. I jump over these last 2. Her cooldown stops. I can use her again. Clear out the spikes to the right of me. I wait here. Slide out of the way. And he's supposed to die to this laptop. There it is. That is like the level you need to understand these fights. I'm not even joking. And I pulled ahead from that. I went from +10 to -37 because I played it so risky. Okay. So, going into this final fight, I had 3 health potions. And that is usually not enough, but I make it work. So this guy, he's like a giant coelacanth, I believe they're called. And he's got a hand in his mouth. You have to damage the hand to actually do damage to him, and he will open his mouth and reveal the hand at like random points for, I don't know if it's random amounts of time, but it's pretty short. Like the window of opportunity you have on this fight is difficult. And because you're trying to hit him with laptops, it makes it even more difficult because the laptop has a lot of like startup, right? Like you have to wait for the thing to spawn, you have to hit it out of the air, and you have to time that at the same time he decides to open his mouth to actually get hits in. And I'm actually doing a pretty poor job in this fight so far doing that. It's difficult. So here, like, I don't spawn the laptop because I know he's gonna wait a while to open his mouth. Even that one missed because he drifted off to the left instead. I'm out of DP. Not a good sign this early in the fight, especially with only 3 potions. So yeah, this boss has like it has like an electric attack, it has an ice attack, and it has a fire attack. And it can like pick randomly between those 3 which one it's gonna do, and they all work a little bit different. So yeah, these like shoot like missiles at you and then light the ground on fire. Very difficult to dodge. Do I finally get a hit here? No. Break that. Gonna switch back to Hanamaru, maybe get a laptop out here. Very nice. Okay, that was clutch. So now, I believe I only have... I don't think I have any health potions right now, or maybe just 1. But there's a second phase to this fight. This is the last fight in the game. I have no HP. Okay, I have 2. So I'm able to heal myself up to full for this final fight, but now I'm completely out. So I basically have to play this perfectly. Dodge all that. These poison balls, if you get hit by one, it toxics you, not just poison. It will toxic you and you will be hit for the rest of the fight by it. Nice crit. Got 1,000 on him. Dodge this. I have so little health to work with. No heals. Spawn this. Get him there. And from this point, I can't get hit by anything. Poison is coming from the left side, so I get over to the right. Spawn another laptop. Get him with 1. At this point, he's probably 1 or 2 hits away. Poison comes from the right this time. Get over to the left. Spawn. Hit him with that. Does his super. So this move drags this wall out of the ground. I gotta cling onto it for exactly the right amount of time. And there it is. That's time. Clutched that one out with no heals. Let's go. For a wholesome 7-second PB. And that's it. That is the speedrun. And I think it would be an awesome opportunity to run at GDQ. I think fans of the anime series would enjoy it. I think the game's interesting, and obviously there's a lot to talk about. I've been talking my head off here. There's a lot of depth to this game. It's really fun, and like I've said a couple of times, it's going to evolve over the next month or 2, and I'm really excited for that. So if you guys would be interested in having me, I would very much appreciate it, and I hope you consider it. So thank you.